came here in a time machine that you invented. Right, Scott?
The charge is murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
A future full of flying cars, killer game shows, and computer worlds you could literally fall into. A decade that thought 2015 would look like Hill Valley, and that New York might end up as a prison island. From neon grids to robot best friends, the 80s was sure it knew what tomorrow would be. It didn't. These are 10 sci-fi movies from the 80s that got the future completely wrong. Number 10, Tron. Tron is what happens when early computer nerds guess the future with almost no real-world experience. Kevin Flynn, a programmer, gets yanked into a computer and dropped into a glowing grid where programs walk like people and settle scores with deadly arcade games. Your job title is your identity, and a giant mainframe runs the show. In the early 80s, that felt wild. Computers were mysterious, hacker sounded dangerous, and the idea of a whole world inside the machine didn't seem impossible. Now it plays like an arcade dream. Neon armor, light cycles, and geometric cities look more like a vintage game cabinet than a serious prediction. The tech talk is vague, the virtual intelligent stuff is pure guesswork, and you can feel the writers making it up as they go. We never moved into mainframes or prayed to a master control program, but Tron did stumble onto one big truth. Screens became a second home. Number 9, Dune.
I shall want telepathy during his visit and a report when we're finished.
Lynch's Dune doesn't try to nail a specific year. It jumps thousands of years ahead and calls that our destiny. Noble houses own planets, a rare spice powers space travel, and one desert world holds everything together. It's a future built from very old parts, emperors, holy wars, and bloodlines, wrapped in clunky-looking tech. Computers are banned, so people rely on altered humans to think and calculate. Ships look mystical from the outside, but inside it's still officers at green screens. Underneath, the movie assumes that no matter how far we go, we end up back with kings and prophecies, just with spaceships parked nearby. Our real world went a different way. Power sits with data, platforms, and code more than with one ruler and a cape. Dune feels less like a peek at tomorrow, and more like an epic about myth and control that just happens to be set in space. Number 8, Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon, quarterback, New York Jets.
Flash Gordon plays like a comic strip blasted with a rock concert. Ming the merciless toys with Earth for fun. A football player gets launched into space, and in no time he's swinging swords, dodging lasers, and uniting sky kingdoms. Queen is on the soundtrack, ships look like jewelry, and every control panel has a giant lever or glowing button. It's not dated to a year, but it's very clear this is the movie's idea of the future. From today, it doesn't read as futuristic at all. It's pure retro pulp with a bigger budget. The story also runs on a simple fantasy. One charming American hero shows up, and an evil empire falls by the end of the weekend. Real revolutions don't work like that. As a prediction, Flash Gordon doesn't give us believable tech or politics. As a time capsule of how bright, goofy, and simple space adventure looked in that era, it's perfect. Number 7, Short Circuit.
It's a machine, Scroder. It doesn't get pissed off, it doesn't get happy, it doesn't get sad, it doesn't laugh at your jokes.
Short Circuit looks at killer robots and immediately softens them. Number 5 is built as a military machine, gets hit by lightning, and suddenly wants to read books, watch TV, crack jokes, and never hurt anyone. He insists he's alive and slowly wins people over by acting more human than the humans around him. Back then, it was easy to imagine one freak accident switching a robot from weapon to friend. From today, that feels almost sweet. We do have chatbots, voice assistants, and agile robots, but none of them wake up by mistake or grow a personality overnight. Real AI is trained, not struck by lightning. The movie also ages badly in one obvious way. The Indian scientist played in brownface by a white actor with a fake accent and one-note jokes. At the time, most viewers let it slide. Now it's the part that really dates the film. Keep watching because we've got some even weirder entries, like a Marvel misfire with a talking duck, a game show that turns death into primetime TV, and the one 80s sequel convinced it had 2015 perfectly mapped out. Number 6, Alien Nation.
The charge is murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
This movie jumps just over the horizon into a near-future Los Angeles and asks what happens if a whole ship of alien refugees suddenly becomes part of everyday life. These newcomers get their own districts, take the worst jobs, and run into prejudice at every turn, while one of them, San Francisco, ends up partnered with a human cop on a murder case. As a metaphor for immigration and racism, it's smart and pretty on the nose. As a vision of the future, it doesn't move the needle much. The aliens mostly slot into familiar cop movie roles. They drink, fight, chase suspects, and crack jokes. Aside from makeup and a few biology quirks, they behave like regular people because, underneath the prosthetics, that's all the film really knows how to do. In real life, we still haven't met visitors from another planet, but we have lived through refugee crises and culture clashes that stretch across borders, not just one city. Alien Nation imagines First Contact as a new skin on the same old segregation instead of something that really changes how the world works. Its heart is in the right place. Its future stays firmly in the 80s. Number 5, Howard the Duck. This show feels like it wandered in from a different branch of reality. A sarcastic duck in a suit gets yanked off his home planet by a lab experiment and dropped into Cleveland, where he teams up with a rock singer and stumbles into a fight against an interdimensional demon. It's one of Marvel's first big screen outings, built with full-body costumes, animatronics, and a tone that can't decide if it's a kid's movie or something much stranger. The movie quietly tests what audiences might accept. There's a Howard Beverly almost romance. It's treated as both a gag and a genuine beat. Plus laser battles and a giant monster that once passed for cutting-edge spectacle. Today it all plays like a museum piece from the last days before digital effects took over. As a prediction of where superhero sci-fi was heading, it totally whiffs. If this helps, tap subscribe so we can do a 90s series next. Number 4, Weird Science and the Build-A-Person Fantasy. This is the 80s teen fantasy boiled down to one wild idea. 2 unpopular kids use a home computer to design their dream woman, and she actually appears. Lisa steps out of their screen with powers, a perfect wardrobe, and a mission the movie never questions: turn these boys' lives around. The tech is a mashup of lightning, nonsense code, and a hacked government system. But the promise is clear. The right machine can fix your status, your confidence, and your social circle. From where we sit now, you can squint and see a warped echo of that in filters, AI companions, and online spaces built to flatter you. But the film never pauses to ask what Lisa wants. Her whole existence is there to serve their growth. In 1985, that's played as a comedy. In a world that talks constantly about consent, objectification, and who gets to be a full person on screen, it lands very differently. Number 3, Escape from New York. Escape from New York doesn't hedge its bets. It stamps 1997 on the screen and shows you a nightmare. Crime has surged, the US has gone authoritarian, and Manhattan has been turned into a sealed-off prison island. No guards inside, no way out. The government dumps people there and walks away. Snake Plissken is thrown in with a bomb in his neck and a job: rescue the president or die trying. By the time the real 1997 rolled around, Manhattan had turned into something very different. Cleaner streets, tourist crowds, rising rents, and coffee chains instead of burning barricades. Crime had dropped, gentrification was in full swing, and the idea of literally walling off the island felt more like comic book exaggeration than prophecy. What Carpenter really nailed wasn't the year. It was the feeling, fear that cities were collapsing, that institutions didn't care, that whole communities could be written off. As a snapshot of 80s anxiety, it's sharp. As a map of where New York was headed, it almost couldn't be more wrong. Number 2, The Running Man.
On your mark!
I'll be back.
The Running Man is the 80s turning TV into a warning label. After an economic crash, America becomes an authoritarian state. And the biggest show on air is a live hunt, where convicted criminals are chased down and killed by costumed stalkers. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Ben Richards is a framed cop, edited into a villain by doctored footage, then thrown into the game as prime entertainment. Where it misses is scale and style. There's no government channel forcing the whole country to watch a state-run deathmatch. No flamethrower gladiators sprinting through ruined city sets on prime time. Instead, we got something quieter. Endless platforms, customized feeds, and algorithms that steer us toward outrage without a single announcer yelling over it. The Running Man was wrong about the big arena, but it was sharp about one thing: how easily truth can be changed into whatever story keeps people watching. Number 1, Back to the Future. Part 2.
I came here in a time machine that you invented. Lights go!
Back to the Future Part 2 doesn't guess sometime later. It stamps a year on screen, 2015. Marty and Doc land in a hill valley full of flying cars, real hoverboards, self-drying jackets, and fax machines on every wall. Shoes lace themselves, clothes adjust automatically, and tiny frozen pizzas grow into full meals in seconds. It's the 80s imagining tomorrow as a loud, gadget-heavy makeover. A few details aged well. We do have video calls, giant flat screens, fingerprint tech, and even limited-run self-lacing sneakers. But the headline stuff never arrived. There's no sky full of commuter traffic, no mass-market hoverboards, and absolutely no one wiring their house for faxes. The movie expected the future to be totally different. New fashion, new streets, new everything. What actually happened was slower. The buildings stayed, the clothes mostly stayed, and the biggest changes slipped into our pockets and browser tabs. Which of these wrong futures would you actually step into for a day? Cruising the neon grid of Tron, dodging stalkers in The Running Man, or skating through Hill Valley 2015 on a real hoverboard? Drop your pick in the comments and tell us why.